moving on to the very last topic. I've been a huge supporter of Johnny Manziel since he was in college. I just loved the way he played in college. I I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed watching him just beat Alabama, beat everyone. The way he played was so, it wasn't good, but I didn't care. I thought he was just a fun, electric guy to watch, and obviously he was a smaller guy, and so I knew his talents weren't really gonna translate well to the NFL. He was still one of the best, I thought, at least in college. So when I saw this report this week, and this is the second time that he's done this, or been accused of this, I should say. But Johnny Manziel was reported that where'd he go? He hit his girlfriend and threatened to kill himself and her during an altercation. So when I first saw that, I was like, I thought it was a bigger deal, and I mean it is, because like the NFL wants to clear up their image of being bad guys, like or not NFL hitters, but women hitters, and like all the sexist stuff that they're doing with the Greg Hardy and I can't remember who else did it, Ray Rice and all that stuff, domestic violence and all that. And this just kind of puts another black eye to the NFL. But I guess my thing with this is that Manziel kind of doesn't really have a job anymore, at least that I really know of. And is it a bad thing he's not in the NFL? I don't think so. He's more of a Tebow, enigmatic kind of guy, but I still think I don't know what to think about this. I'm just gonna lay out the rest of the facts here, and like from what I saw in the reports here, so like I said, he threatened to commit suicide and kill her apparently, and then he came out and said that he never hit her, he never threatened suicide, and he says that he's completely stable. And then a little bit after that, it was reported that he won't be charged by the NFL or by the Dallas or Fort Worth police, and that the criminal investigation is now closed. So just on that, it's kind of interesting because that they're not charging him. Is it because he's a big star, or what's the deal there? And it was also apparent that he was on drugs and possibly alcohol and what have you. So I thought that was very interesting part of that story. And moving on to the next part of it, his agent parts ways with him, and he says it became obvious his future rests solely in his hands, referring to Manziel. So he basically said that he can't do anything for him, and the only thing Manziel can do is help himself. Like, no one can really help him, kind of thing. And so the second to last part here is that he was expected to face, or is still expected to face, I guess, significant penalties from the NFL. And that's a big thing because they still haven't charged him. It's kind of died down recently. Obviously, it hasn't died completely, but I still think that if whatever their penalty is, if it's anything near Ray Rice or Greg Hardy, where it's just a few game suspension, it's completely wrong. I think they should kick him out for a year, and also do just a little bit, maybe make him do, I don't know what exactly you can do. He's not going to be, I don't know what to think there. Obviously the facts aren't all out here. Some of them have been possibly fabricated. He's covering himself up. The criminal investigation is closed. The facts haven't been released. All that stuff. But I think he's kind of kicked out of the NFL. And I'm going to talk about this last piece real quick, and then move on to my analysis of Johnny Manziel, his career, and this incident and what it means for him. But so his dad said that he won't live to see his 24th birthday if he keeps going the way he is, like living the way he lives right now. And that's kind of says something to me, because if his dad doesn't expect him to live that long, or well, if his dad can see that his lifestyle is that bad, why isn't Manziel changing it? And I mean, that's kind of a bad thing. I've heard the stories of Manziel partying on the bye week, getting caught going to Vegas and skipping treatment, skipping what have you, and just being a poor teammate, always being at a club, being in Vegas instead of being at a game. Even though he was concussed that week, so I don't see why I don't see why it was such a big deal as it was, but still just not being there for his team. And so you have all that, and then you have on top of that he wasn't a fantastic quarterback, but he went to the rehab for drinking, and then it still hasn't been fixed. And so as I see it right now, I don't see him being in the NFL next year, because I don't see an NFL team putting any effort or time into being like, hey, we can fix him. Although I think there are people that can help him, but I don't see anyone really trying to be like, hey, I don't like putting a bunch of money, like, hey, we'll give you $3 million to come be on our team, and we're going to try and fix you. And then he'd just be like, nah, I'm going to go drink some more, kind of thing. And with that, I like I said, I think he's out of the league, but I don't see it being like a huge deal, I guess. I could see him, like, he was projected to go to the Cowboys or go somewhere else, and I don't think that anyone really is going to, like, no one's gonna offer him anymore, and he's kind of left out in the open now. If he fixes himself, he gets clean, he gets all this stuff, like, gets clean, gets a little bit of help from people so he stays clean, doesn't get in any more fights with his girlfriend, doesn't do any of that bad publicity stuff, I think he could be back. But I mean, he's obviously got a little bit of talent because he can beat Bama. He knows what he's doing, but he needs to be reined in. He needs to have that sense of, like, we're not going to allow you to go out and party and be that guy that's at the club 24/7 and being at practice like 2 hours a day or whatever. So there kind of needs to be a balance there. I don't see him being offered any NFL jobs. And I've heard the comparison of Ryan Leaf from a couple of years ago. It was when Peyton got drafted, I believe. I think that's right. Ryan Leaf was the 2 pick and whatever. I don't know the whole story on that one. I wasn't around then. But so you got Ryan Leaf and Johnny Manziel, and I think that's, on some respects, it's a fair comparison, but on some respects, it's not. You have Manziel obviously coming out of the SEC, being a highly touted quarterback with a bunch of high expectations, and like, I guess it'd be a couple, like, he performed really well in the SEC and the NCAA. So did Leaf. He had these high numbers, gaudy numbers, whatever, what have you. And then you had all that stuff. And all that, like, they're just 2 big name quarterbacks. But what people don't really realize is, I mean, yes, you can compare them because of that. They had similar careers. Leaf was out of the NFL in 3 years, and so was Johnny Manziel, reportedly. But, or expectedly, I should say. But Manziel was a late round pick, like, or not late round, later in the first round pick, 22nd, I believe. And Ryan Leaf was the number 2 pick. Like, Ryan Leaf was expected to be the franchise guy. Johnny Manziel was like, hey, he's good. He's going to sell tickets. He's going to be that guy. Maybe he'll be good someday. So there's like a little bit of a disconnect there, and I don't really understand it. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see what he does in the future. Hopefully he can fix himself, get better. I'm a huge fan of him. I would love to see him in the NFL doing what he does, or doing what he did in college. So that's just my opinion on Manziel. I don't think he's going to be in the NFL anymore, and that's a sad day. But I guess that'll wrap it up. Thank you for listening to the Ryno Sports Talk podcast. If you guys have any comments or anything you want me to talk about, leave that in the comment section, I guess. Hit that subscribe button and like this video. it's just these are always really fun. I might take a week off here as baseball season gets into full swing coming up here. We're just starting practice, so I might have to start. These might be more sporadic or differently timed or what have you, shorter. I don't know yet. We'll see what happens. So just wanted to give a little heads up there. But thanks for listening. Like I said, like, subscribe, comment any suggestions for anything, and I'll have a little bit of a Super Bowl review next week, and then I'm gonna do another special edition. So thanks again for listening. Have a good day. Oh, if you haven't already, also I did a complete Super Bowl preview on my blog, link in the description. So if you want to read that, I think it gives a storylines, prediction, players to watch, matchups to watch, and all that stuff. So if you want a more of an unbiased and kind of in-depth, I guess, thing for the Super Bowl, that's your number one source right there. So, all right, now officially, thank you for listening, and see you next week. Thanks again.